Have you ever been deeply hurt by someone? Not just a careless word, but a betrayal that pierced your trust? They expected you to fall apart. But here's the powerful truth. You get to choose whether to stay down or rise stronger. And the truth no one talks about? The best revenge isn't about hurting them back, it's showing them you've already moved on. Good evening, everyone. We've all been there. Someone hurts you, betrays your trust, or does something that cuts deeper than words can describe. And it leaves a wound that doesn't just sting, it lingers. It changes how you see them, and sometimes how you see yourself. Our first instinct? Retaliation. We imagine the perfect comeback, a moment where they feel the pain they caused. A part of us hopes they'll finally understand the weight of what they did. But let me tell you something honest and life-changing. The best revenge is no revenge at all. The most powerful response to pain isn't returning it, it's rising above it. It's refusing to shrink into bitterness. It's walking forward with your head held high, not because you're ignoring the pain, but because you're choosing not to let it define you. When someone hurts you, they expect you to break. They want to see you caught in a loop of anger, resentment, and emotional chaos. But when you choose not to respond with the same energy, when you decide to heal, to grow, and to redirect your energy inward, that becomes the loudest message of all. Instead of feeding the cycle, you invest in yourself. You become stronger, more grounded, more focused. You stop trying to prove a point to them, and you start proving your strength to yourself. And yes, that desire to fight back, to take back control, is normal. But here's the truth. Revenge is a trap. It feels like control, but it keeps you tethered to the very thing you're trying to break free from. You replay the offense. You obsess over the why, and in doing so, you stay emotionally connected to the wound. Power comes when you take that connection away. When you say, I'm not giving this person any more of my energy. That's when you start to reclaim your peace. That's when real healing begins. And it doesn't mean you ignore your pain. It means you process it, learn from it, and then move forward. You focus on what you can control, your thoughts, your actions, your path. By refusing to retaliate, you're not being weak, you're being wise. You're showing that their actions didn't break you. You're showing that you choose peace over chaos. That is the real victory, not in making them hurt, but in showing that they no longer have the power to hurt you. When someone wounds you, it's easy to become consumed with them, their motives, their silence, their lack of remorse. You replay the moment over and over, looking for clarity, for closure, but doing that only gives them more space in your mind. They've already taken your peace, don't let them take your focus too. Shift that energy back where it belongs, on you. You can't change the past, but you can change what happens next. Use the pain as fuel. Channel it into growth. Take that same emotional intensity and pour it into your healing. Learn, evolve, create, build. Your comeback isn't a confrontation, it's a transformation. And as you rise step by step, choice by choice, you're showing the world something greater than revenge. You're showing strength, grace, and unshakable dignity. Because your life is too valuable to let someone else's betrayal steer your direction. And your purpose? It's far too great to spend it looking backward. Up next, we're going deeper. What if the hurt wasn't an accident but a choice? The next part will open your eyes and guard your heart. You survived what was meant to break you. Not only did you survive, you rose. And that's the kind of victory that makes noise without a sound. See, when someone hurts you intentionally, they expect you to fall apart. They expect the pain to consume you, to freeze your future, to break your spirit. But here's the twist. You didn't just survive, you transformed. You chose not to respond with rage. You didn't chase revenge. You didn't beg, scream, or spiral. You paused. You breathed. You turned inward. and you said, "This won't define me." Because the best revenge is not a plan for payback. It's a decision to grow, to build a life so steady, so joyful, so peaceful, that their betrayal becomes irrelevant. They may have aimed to silence your voice, but now you're speaking louder with your actions than you ever could with your words. They tried to shake your foundation, but all they did was force you to dig deeper roots. And here's the most powerful part. You didn't need to destroy them to heal. You didn't need to return their energy. You simply reclaimed yours. Revenge says, "I want them to hurt like I did." Healing says, "I refuse to let them hurt me anymore." So instead of plotting ways to make them pay, you chose to invest in your future. You poured your pain into purpose. You used the ashes of what they burned to build something new. That's power. That's freedom. You started chasing your goals. You started loving yourself deeper. You reconnected with your faith, your passions, your peace. You didn't let them write the final chapter. You picked up the pen and wrote something better. Some people think success is measured in money, applause, or revenge. But real success? It's when you wake up without bitterness, when you laugh without pretending, when you can say their name and feel nothing but peace. They don't know what to do with that, because they were expecting you to stay stuck in the story they created. But you walked out of it and began a new one. And it's okay if it still hurts sometimes. Healing doesn't mean you forget it, it means you remember without reliving. You don't deny what happened, but you refuse to carry it into tomorrow. You've come too far to keep reopening wounds. You've cried too many nights to hand your joy back to the person who caused those tears. You've rebuilt too much to let them knock it down again. So now when they come knocking, when they try to sneak back in with apologies, guilt, or charm, you don't open the door. You smile with peace. Forgive them in your heart and say, "Not this time. I'm building something too valuable to risk." Because the truth is, some people don't deserve a seat at your table anymore. They had their chance, and instead of adding to your life, they drained it. You can still wish them well. You can still pray for them. But love from a distance isn't cruel, it's wise. Not everyone who was part of your past deserves access to your present. And they certainly don't belong in the future God is preparing for you. You owe it to yourself to protect your peace, to honor the healing you fought for, to guard the joy that came at a cost. So let go of needing to be understood. Let go of the fantasy that they'll suddenly change. Let go of the lie that closure comes from them. The real closure is your progress. It's the smile that returns. It's the confidence that grows. It's the peace that no one can take. So what now? Now you live. Now you shine. Now you walk forward, not looking back, because you've got better things ahead than anything that's behind you. And when you finally stop chasing revenge, you make space for something greater. Redemption, restoration, revival. So, if this message spoke to your soul, if it reminded you of your strength, make sure to subscribe to Divine Strength Daily. There's more healing, more growth, and more wisdom waiting for you right here. Let your story be a testimony that pain doesn't win, purpose does. Let your life be the answer to those who tried to break you. You're not done. You're just getting started. And what's ahead is worth far more than what's behind.